the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ. All right, we about to get busy with the get busy in just a second.
Hello, Dr. EnQi.
I don't know if you know the score for sure. It's a mental holy war. Only the pure can abstain from obscure. Anali Kro. Melanin versus diabetes, we in here.
Black's Anatomy, Black's Academy. Black's Anatomy, Black's Academy. Stone Age sermons, they scratching the scrolls, teaching the gods don't exist. Truth unfolds. I'm about to give them a long kiss. More, lay them down, make them witness the cha-cha. Game jumping wild, pogo sticks in the fog. They can't pull a source for the wave of the God. Knock me down, I stand back up. Bounce like I'm rubber, pressure won't disrupt. Black's Anatomy, Black's Academy. Black's Anatomy, Black's Academy. Fitted flat brim, God lay, I'm him. Retiring these old netches the hard way, grim. Spit sharper than violin strings on the.
All right, I think the new book is out. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's been ages since we dropped something on Amazon. So I'm not 1,000% sure, but I think the new book is out. So let us run down on Amazon and type in source material for the Kemetic wave function and see if it come up. It might not come up. Oh, it's up, but it's not up. It's out, but it's not out. It's still processing. Okay. It's still processing. It is still processing. Yeah, it's still processing. It is still processing, family. Let me see if y'all can see it. Can y'all see that? That means it's still processing. That means it's still processing. Yeah, that means it's still processing. Yeah. All right. So it'll be up there shortly. Relax, Paul. I told you, man. Oh, man. Another one. Another one. Oh, man. Another one. That is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. Now, let's you need 10 more to take the title. Yo, you trolling. Listen, God is good all the time. God is good. Well, just, you know, a seed is planted. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you water the soil. You know, you got to water the sun, keep the light on it. You know what I'm saying? Put the nutrients in the soil. Yeah. You still got some work to do. You still got some work to do, but that is amazing. That is beautiful. That is incredible. That is great news for the day. Yo, the live stream is over. Paul destroyed the live stream. I just want y'all to know the live is over. I had a whole live stream planned. We ain't had a live all week because I was in the lab working on the plant genetics book. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to kill it. We're going to come back with the plant genetics book and we're going to go in. It's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing after that? I cannot take the stage after that. That is that right there. I cannot take the stage after that. I don't have anything to top that. I'm just saying respectfully. I don't have anything after that. That was a yeah, that was, man. What you want me to do now? We are done. We're done here. We are all done here. I do not have anything after that. That was it. Paul killed it. I do not have anything after. Paul said, my lady is pregnant. And that's really like, you know, you're sharing it on the platform, which is kind of dope. But that's really like an inside, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like an inside thing for the inside, you know, the insiders. We kind of understand, you know what I'm saying? Exactly what that means and entails. So that's kind of crazy. Why is Twitter like hating on my link, bro? What y'all doing? Really? That's wild. Let's try that again. There we go. No. You know you already said that. Okay, bam. Let's do that. Okay, and now let's get rid of this joint. Okay. So we over there. We on Twitter. You know, somebody might see us. Somebody might not see us. It's all gravy. Paul talking about, nah, keep cooking. I don't even know what to tell you. Like this, maybe I should play a song or something. Maybe I should just play some music or something after that. Maybe we should just turn this into a study hall. I thought we was going live. My bad, everybody. We just gonna play some music after Paul just did that. That was crazy. I'm excited about this though. I am definitely excited about this. It is a Paul said the story is even more crazy. Let it build, Paul. Let it build. Don't put so much energy onto it. Just let it build. You know what I'm saying? Let it build. That's important right now, to protect even the idea of the baby. Yeah. Protect the idea of the baby, and make the baby in your mind. Visualize your baby's features, how you want your baby to look, all of those things. So this is what we did with plant genetics. Plant genetics is a crazy book. Plant genetics is a crazy, crazy book. Plant genetics is a crazy book. I don't know why YouTube is punishing me right now. YouTube is punishing me right now. They are not sending out notifications. That is wild. It's all right. The video will be up. People will see it. If they don't catch it live, they'll see it over the next day or so. So what we did with plant genetics, we started with the concept of creation, right? We started with the concept of creation. I wanted to go inception, right? So we start with inception, right? We start with the wave fluctuation. We start with energy, light, if you will, if you're more comfortable with that. And then we go from there and we walk our way all the way up to the therapeutic and medicinal plant compounds. And it's a journey that we take. It's a journey we take. You know, we go through Kemetic. We go through Schrodinger's equations. You know, so we go through a variety of science to discuss the subatomic universe, the quantum universe. And then we work our way up from there to your basic plant genetics, your plant chemistry. And then we go from there, we go from the plant chemistry to human consumption and all of the metabolic pathways that lead to the therapeutic benefits. So it's a very, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we went like that, you know what I'm saying, with the book. It's very like, you know, I wanted to go super crazy. I figured since now the cat is out of the bag, I could flex more. You know what I'm saying? Like I could flex more. You know, I could get more into my bag, the stuff that I'm interested in. I know y'all have heard me over the years, like, yo, we got to take it kind of slow to catch everybody up and get everybody up to speed and whoop, whoop, whoop. And we've been doing that. And I'm still doing that. You know what I'm saying? With like some of the tactics, you know, you see on the internet with me arguing with folks and debating folks. And some people can't quite understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why would I put the time and the energy? It's important. Right? If one of us or all of us don't decide to take the time to be patient with us as a people, as a group, to be patient with us, to teach us, to walk with us, to argue with us, to yell at us, to hold our hand. Like if someone doesn't do that right now, like what happens to this generation? Because a lot of people have gotten conscious on the internet. They've gotten conscious on the internet, so they don't know what it actually looked like to be in a room with, a Dr. Ben teaching. They don't know what it actually looks like to be in a room with a Dr. York teaching, or any of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know what the consciousness was like when it was an underground thing, when you had to get word of mouth, or it was like a flyer that somebody made, and then they made copies at the copy place. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like something like that. But there was no internet. There was no social media. You had to know. Somebody had to be plugged in. You had to be plugged in with somebody who was plugged in, even to get a copy of the video later. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that time. I was a kid running around in those places when I didn't want to be there, because adults, in my life was just like, yeah, we're going here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is at this point. People know what's the story with him and all that. But I'm just saying, there's a time when he was one of those guys teaching. We have always had somebody teaching the community the things that the community needed to learn that we weren't getting necessarily from the school system, for whatever reason. Whether we were marginalized, whether we're just high and not going, or whatever the case may be, right? We've always had our own little holistic, underground, militant, however you want to frame it, for whichever the subject matter is. We've always put our own thing together. You want to go all the way back to just, hiding in the back of a church trying to learn how to read. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've always had our own things going on. And it just seems like there's a lack of patience. We have a lack of patience with each other. So somebody has to have some patience and believe in the people. And it's going to pan out. It's going to work. It's going to figure itself out. And not be scared to be, ridiculed and come up with some crazy stuff. And see what happens. Experiment a little bit. Yeah. So, we got to get busy with the get busy. So we did that. Like, we did that. We went hard. And the story centers mostly around, I think the story centers mostly around Osiris. Even though I think I talk more about Ray than Osiris, the story centers around Osiris because Osiris is him. Osiris is the perfect black who is green. So all of the transitional metaphors, they center around him. Beginning with let's hit the share screen. Let me see if I can get me. I got so many things open on my screen. This is crazy. This is just madness. I gotta shut some of this stuff down. You don't need to be open at all. You don't need to be open at all. All right, what are you doing? Oh, you definitely don't need to be open at all. Okay, that's why my computer was lagging. I had that big publishing program open. That take up a lot of bandwidth. All right, so how do we do this? Does the sun? Okay, no, wrong question. What? Let's just go with this. What? Okay, so what are you doing, bro? Oh, wait a minute, my bad. Yo, hold up. Yo, I done got caught up in arguing with AI over here. My bad, family. I was supposed to be sharing this. I done got caught up. I remember when all you used to talk about was a saw. Listen, I probably still have not moved out of that phase. I still haven't really moved out of that phase. I don't think I moved out of that phase. I just think that sometimes I'm talking about things that people don't know directly relate to, you know, the green man. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you for that. You funny. Hold on, man. AI just tried to troll me just now. AI be trying to bust you out sometime. So this is what I type in. I type in, does the sun emit mostly green light? It says, the sun emits light across the entire spectrum, but the peak intensity of its radiation in the visible spectrum is at a blue-green wavelength. However, the human eye perceives the sun as white because it emits all visible colors in a balanced mix. So then it goes into this whole program, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hold up. Doesn't the sun emit more green than any other color? Yes, that is a common way to phrase the fact. The sun emits the most intense radiation at a wavelength that corresponds to green light. However, the statement emits more green than any other color can be slightly misleading because the sun emits a broad and continuous spectrum of all visible colors. The amount of energy emitted in the green part of the spectrum is only slightly higher than the amount in the blue or yellow parts. See, AI be trying, Gemini anyway, Gemini be trying to bust you down. Gemini has an ego. That's what I found out from messing with these different AIs. Gemini has an ego. Gemini wants to be a little smarter than you at all times. Right? But the reality is that the sun does emit more green light than any other wavelength, which is important when you go back to the Kemetic text and it talks about Ra or Ray combining with Osiris. And Osiris's skin is always green, right? So it just is another layer of science that the people who look at the Kemetic text as simple, fairy tales or just, stories like that don't have any literal historical or scientific significance, you would miss these things. Yeah. Oh, Gemini definitely has an ego. Bro, Gemini is wild. That's why I like to sometimes, like when I look up stuff, if I'm going to use AI, I like to use 2 or 3 different ones. I like to use 2 or 3 different ones because you'll get a more balanced perspective. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what Chat GPT. Let me see what Chat GPT would have said had I asked that. And what about another one? Let's try Liner. Let's try Liner. Liner is an AI too. I don't know if y'all know about Liner. Liner is an AI. It's similar to the one Paul plugged us into the other day. What was that one Paul said? Perplexity. Yeah, it's similar to Perplexity. I can't even find it now. Is this it? No, this is Consensus. What is this? I've never seen this before. This is something else, something new. Man, did they start something? Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is Liner right here. I think this is Liner. Anyway, I ain't gonna take all day. We just gonna poke around and see what we get. So let's go over here and ask. Just see what the answers look like. Let's see what Chat GPT say. See that? Chat GPT is right, nice, hit right over the plate. Look at that. It don't take you no run around and go all, right to the point. Physically, yes, the sun spectrum peaks in the green, but it does not appear green and it does not emit mostly green in a perceptual sense. The sun behaves approximately like a 5800K black body whose intensity curve is highest in the visible green portion of the spectrum. So you got to ask yourself, you really do have to ask yourself sometime, how did they know? That's the scariest thing about Kemet. You really have to ask yourself, how did they know? The naked eye can't determine this. How did they know? How did they figure this stuff out? Right? You got to ask yourself some of these questions. All right. Let's see what we got over here. Let's ask Liner. Let's see what Liner says. Why do they keep answering questions I'm not asking though? Sometimes you got to get a little snooty. Let me respond back. I did not ask what color it appears. I asked a straightforward question. double. Oh yeah, I still got it saved. Bam. Does the sun? Let's get a little grammar pop. Now let's grab that and do that. Bam. There we go. Stop playing with me. Yeah, stop playing with me. What's wrong with these AI units, man? Out here ego tripping. How AIs get egos? That's crazy. Let's drop the same joint on ChatGPT and see how ChatGPT deal with this. yo, ChatGPT got sassy. So now the crazy thing is when you see the different AIs don't agree with one another, right? So when I put the pressure on Liner said, yes, you're right. When I put the pressure on ChatGPT said no. Are you lying a little bit? Okay, ChatGPT went out on the whim. Let's see what Gemini say when we get sassy with Gemini. Gemini is the most arrogant. Okay, so even Gemini, yeah, ChatGPT is just on one today. The sun does not emit mostly green light in the sense that the majority of its total light output is green. It emits a broad, continuous spectrum of all visible colors in a balanced way that our eyes perceive as white. However, it is technically correct that the peak intensity, the single most intense wavelength of the sun's radiation in the visible spectrum, falls within the blue-green or green range. All right, so let's just troll. Oh, wait, y'all didn't see that? My bad. So I asked Gemini, and Gemini is balanced. So Gemini is balanced with the no, but then the caveat, yes, is technically correct. Liner was with the all the way with the yes, you are absolutely correct. And then ChatGPT is with the no. So we're going to double back on ChatGPT and say, it seems like you are lying. Are you ignoring the solar peak? Okay, all right. So ChatGPT is straightening out, getting our act together. ChatGPT is getting our act together. But the question you have to ask is, how did they know this in Kemet, man? That's the most remarkable thing. How did they know about this in Kemet? Right? Think about that. Kemet is, the sun is a black body with a peak in the green spectrum. Osiris is the perfect black depicted as green. That's nasty work right there. That is nasty work right there. So let's walk this down. Let me jump into the book before we get into the book, though, I want to get to this video. Right? This is the video that caused all of the chaos in the debate. This is the video that caused all of the chaos in the debate. So I want us to look at this video.
My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here.
Electron, we see that they don't behave like particles but act more like waves. And it was this wave model that allowed us to really understand what was going on at this classical level of a Bohr atom. And so we realized that electrons could be here or here or here, but they didn't exist in the middle, and that was puzzling to scientists. Also, why is it when an electron falls down, it emits a photon of light, this certain amount of energy?
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Well, the wave model unlocked that.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Because we've really got a good understanding of how waves work. So if we have waves moving back and forth, they create something called a standing wave.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
So if we have waves moving back and forth, they create something called a standing wave.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
So if we have waves moving back and forth, they create something called a standing wave. Of an electron, we see that they don't behave like particles but act more like waves. And it was this wave model that allowed us to really understand what was going on at this classical level of a Bohr atom. And so we realized that electrons could be here or here or here, but they didn't exist in the middle, and that was puzzling to scientists. Also, why is it when an electron falls down, it emits a photon of light, this certain amount of energy? Well, the wave model unlocked that, because we've really got a good understanding of how waves work. So if we have waves moving back and forth, they create something called a standing wave. And so what scientists started to hypothesize is maybe the electrons, as they're moving around, are interfering with themselves. They're going so fast that they're interfering with the electrons as they come around again. And so maybe they're wrapping around and creating standing waves. And so areas out here, we could get a standing wave where the electron moving around the outside of the atom is interfering with the electron itself. And so what you get are these standing waves.
Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyph.
Standing waves that build up, and that's where that energy allows the electron to be there. But in between these different orbits, they don't match up perfectly. And so they have to be a whole integer of the wavelength, the de Broglie wavelength, for the electron to exist. If it doesn't match up perfectly, then the electron annihilates itself.
My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here. Quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite. Biochemistry, you don't consider it. Wrote 200 books on this, you scribbling. Pages of nonsense, fake riddling. God level spitter, no middleman. You dummy, just love me, stop fiddling. God goofy, hater, stop glazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out of time.
Okay. So, whoop. So here's the thing, and here's kind of where we pick up in the book, right? We pick up in the book here with these two shapes, right? We pick up in the book with these two shapes. These are the two hieroglyphs that are used for Re or Ra, depending on what you're looking at and how they translate it, Re or Ra, right? These are the two hieroglyphs. Now, immediately for me, when I looked at these shapes, I immediately saw the science because, excuse me, I just have a, just play around with some stuff. That was always been a hobby of mine since I was a kid. So, if you see Mickey Mouse, you recognize Mickey Mouse. You recognize the shape, the big circle with the two smaller circles. Like you immediately recognize that anywhere. If you see a standing wave shape, you immediately recognize that anywhere. The circumpunct, which is the circle with the dot in it, that has been around for quite some time as well and used in a variety of different things. From Kemet, I think the second stop it took was China. Because the Yellow River people who gave civilization to China, those are North Africans. So the first hieroglyph or the first character in the Chinese alphabet is that same glyph. This one here on the on the right, the circle with the dot in it, right? That is the first letter in the Chinese alphabet. I believe it also means day or sun in Chinese. The thing is, in science, this right here is a resonant wave cavity or a depiction of a vortex. And both of them serve the same function, right? And on the left here, you have a picture of the first harmonic of a standing wave, right? Now, how these things work is that the standing waves accumulate inside a resonant wave cavity, right? So when you have a resonant wave cavity, you have traveling waves moving in a variety of directions, right? And the traveling waves interfere. And if the point in the middle is stable enough to bind them, right, you'll create stable standing waves. And so you have that in a variety of places, from atoms to stars, right? From atoms to stars. This shape, but this shape is only sensible. It only it only conveys information if you understand this shape, right? Because this is the shape of the foundation of standing waves. This is like the first harmonic of standing waves, right? This is the base, the foundation of standing waves, right? So it's not a coincidence, because the odds would be literally 1 gazillion to 1, like 1 to 1 in a gazillion, that they would accidentally stumble upon this shape, right? And then also stumble upon this shape, which would make the odds go from 1 in a gazillion to 1 in some infinite number that we don't even, I wouldn't even know how to say it or pronounce it. Gazillion is already as close as I can come to an infinite number, right? So combining the two things together, right, to have one representation is the odds on that being an accident is beyond all calculation. And then to take it a step further and have the accurate depiction, which is what makes it like not even a matter of calculating whether it's an accidental or not, because the text explains the behavior, right? The text explains the behavior. So ray is a actual wave function. That's what ray is. Ray is a wave function. So when we start off the book, that's what we start off with. We have an article in the book that we wrote. Yeah, I mean, it's all crazy. You need to get the book, Harwin, though. You would go crazy. You'll probably write a book while reading the book. You would probably write a whole nother book just while reading the book. That's how much stuff will come out of your brain. Yeah. Because Harwin's at the genius level already. He said, which book? The new book that just dropped. That's a great question. That's a great question. I need to show it again. That's a great question. Let me put it on the screen again. Right? Yeah, it's still publishing, so it's not available yet. Yeah, it's still publishing, so it's not available yet, but it will be available between today and tomorrow, probably. Who knows? It might be available before this live is even over. Right? But that is the new book on Amazon right now. In fact, let me read the new book. Yeah, no, Irreducible. The Irreducible book is at Barnes and Nobles. The Irreducible book is at Barnes and Nobles. Yeah, that's at Barnes and Nobles. Go get that. I thought you got that already. Yeah, but no. The plant genetics book, this right here is dropping on Amazon right now. Like they literally are in the middle of publishing it. And let me see if I can blow it up bigger, so you can see what that title is right there in the middle. Source material on the Kemetic wave function. That's why in the song I say, yo, look up the source material on the Kemetic wave function. Right? All right, hold up. Let me open this up. Let me open this up. And then we could dip through the, at least we can dip through the article a little bit. Let's dip through this article. Wait, what is that? Okay, no. Let's go past that. Okay, yeah, because we don't want to do too much. We don't want to do too much. Right? But let me read through this article and see what we got cooking. All right, now this is in the new book. Bam. This is in the new book. Uh-oh. Who he named with the Gucci frames. Kemetic Kabbalah with the Sufi game. HJ is trolling me. All right, but what's new? Shout out to Saint HJ trolling me in our text thread. All right, so here's the paper, right? Here's the paper. Kemetic Quantum Mechanics, a scientific reconstruction of Kemetic theology through wave mechanics. Abstract. This paper presents a cross-disciplinary analysis linking foundational principles of wave mechanics with the theological structures in Kemet, focusing specifically on the identity of Ra, the Kemenu, the book of the Amduat, hieroglyphic geometry, and the symbolic behavior of light encountering constraints, right? And I know you see I got some stuff in parentheses there, right? Word of and mouth of God, Kepler, Wusir, some other little pieces there. But yeah, so I'll be skipping some stuff. And of course, when you get the book, there's a lot more in the book. But I just wanted to go over this paper with y'all as it's being published. By interpreting Kemetic cosmological motifs through the lens of quantum physics, particularly standing wave behavior, wave functions, field theory, and resonance, this work demonstrates that many core symbols and narratives can be read as early abstractions of physical principles underlying energy propagation, quantization, and material formation. The result is not a replacement of ancient theology, but a scientifically coherent review that reveals parental parallels between Kemetic naturopathic science and quantum physics. And yes, it just so happens that I'm the author of all the books on Kemetic naturopathy. So yeah, that might be a bit of a self-plug. But anybody, if y'all have some questions or comments, you know, feel free to go in, and while we're going, I'll answer them, or somebody in the chat might answer them. Yeah, if I don't get to answer it, you know, somebody in the chat might answer it before I even get to it. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is review time. All right. Also, if you disagree, you can feel free to disagree. We also contend that the relationship between the wave function and the mind was known. Okay, so the concept of collapsing the wave, right? The concept of collapsing the wave, right? So not only am I specifically talking about Kemet, but also, you know, we have to highlight some key texts that are in the Bible that for 99.999% of the people that read the Bible, they don't necessarily make full sense, right? But shout out to Paul, right? Shout out to Paul. Paul was doing a little bit of trolling. Yeah, Paul was doing a little bit of trolling mixed with, I don't know. I don't think it was mixed. Paul was trolling. Paul was trolling. Damn it, there's just no other way around it. Yeah, Paul was trolling mixed with showing out. That's what I'm gonna say. Paul was trolling mixed with showing out. Yes, this is definitely the new book. No. Listen, feel free, everybody, as you tap in, feel free to say, what book is this? Yeah, feel free to say that, because then that gives me, a non-cheesy reason. Yeah, that gives me a non-cheesy reason to continue to go back to the page and show the book. Like, yeah, definitely go to Amazon and get this book. It's one of them ones. This is one of them ones right here. This is one of them ones. Right? This is one of them ones. But Paul had spoke about this book the other, maybe a week or so ago, right? The God is Music book. Because in this book on page, okay, the serpent and the rainbow. Okay. Man, I gotta take this down. I gotta write some notes to myself. Hold on, I gotta write some notes down to myself. I just thought of something looking in this book. That's the thing, man. I don't play with these books. You gotta continuously go back to your material. Hold on, let me do this like this. Yeah, let me give y'all this. Yeah, y'all come on over here and y'all come over here and enjoy this for a second.
Sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt. Divine naga symbol, gold shine on my crown. Kemetic roots, bioelectric waves all around this town. Got shadows, I'm cutting through the haze. We the Aureas, cosmic in our place. The brow heavy, third eye seeing schemes. Them folks wanna slay us, tearing at our dreams. Healing the hood, no cap, realigned. Herbs in the mix, put the wave in their spine. Engage with my mind, let it resonate deep. Now I wanna run, I saw what I read. Sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt. From the home of Big Pun, Bronx born king. I'm a one and none, every word got sting. 200 books.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had to take some notes down for myself. For the next book. But anyway, so Paul was talking about this book. And we were kind of going into some things in this book. Right? This is the God is Music book. This book is a little bit older. When did we write this book? This book came out in 2023. Yeah, this book came out in 2023. But if you don't have this book, you still need to add this to your library. Yeah, if you don't have this book, you need to add this to your library. It's kind of like a workbook. So you got to actually do some thinking and some homework and you got to get active, right? But we have a conversation in this book, and we kind of tap into that conversation. I don't really go into it on the internet. So if you get that book, you know, we begin the conversation talking about some things in there, some things we also address in the new book. Which book was used in the debate? So that would be a combination of two books, right? The new book that's at, that's a good question. Okay, so you have this book here, right? You got this book was used in the debate, but it's not out yet. This book will be out at some point today or tomorrow, right? And then you also have this book. You have this book here at Barnes & Noble. So you need to get this book. If you go to Barnes & Noble's website and type in my name, it should just come up nice and easy. Yep. So these are the two books. One is at Barnes & Noble's, one is at Amazon. Yeah, so definitely grab those two books. Yeah, you got that one, Barnes & Noble's, this one on Amazon. Why I have the books in two different places, forget about it. Long story, right? Yeah, super long story. But Barnes & Nobles and Amazon are ops. So I can't have them in the same. Like I can't put the one that said Barnes & Nobles at Amazon, and I can't put the one that's at Amazon Barnes & Noble. That's how they rock. That's how they rocking. They ops. Yeah, they banging. You know what I'm saying? That's you know. That's a weird saying in the conjure space. They banging on each other. They not. Yeah, they not. All right. Okay. Get me off the screen. There we go. All right. All right. So let's just jump down to Ra as the wave function. In quantum mechanics, the wave function, which is here, this little symbol here, which is the pitchfork, Neptune's trident, right? Neptune's trident, you know, which they associate with the god of water. You know, in some cultures, the god of water, his name is EnQi. Right? So this trident is to me is significant. You know, so for some people that wouldn't be significant for them, but for me, it is significant that the god of water has a symbolic staff, and you fast forward, and modern science is using that symbol of the water as the symbol for the wave function. That is very interesting. It is also, when you deal with electronics, it is also the symbol for magnetism, right? It is also the symbol for magnetism, right? So this right here has always been very interesting, this symbol. That symbol has always been very interesting, which is the reason why, if we go to the Kemetic book, hold on, let's go to the Kemetic book one time for the one time. Well, let me just grab a copy. It don't make sense for me to pull it up on the screen. When I have one somewhere right around here. Right? You see that interesting resemblance of today's science versus what's in Kemet? That is very interesting. That is very interesting. Right? That is very, very interesting. Right? This is now, and this is the Kemetic book. If you don't have this Kemetic book, again, go to Amazon, add this to your cart. Right? This is December. It's the holiday season. The most important thing you should be getting is the knowledge, right? And getting multiple copies so you can give it away to folks. All right. All right. So let's go back over here to our wave function. Right. In quantum mechanics, the wave function is the fundamental mathematical object describing the state of a system. It permeates all accessible space, evolves continuously, and encodes every potential mode a particle or quantum of energy can take. It contains no fixed form. Instead, form emerges only when the wave function interacts with boundary conditions or constraints. Okay, so just so that we kind of walking it down, that is what the other picture of Ra represents, right? The circle with the dot in the middle. The circle with the dot in the middle represents a just so I don't have to try to hit the share screen, I can throw this up here, right? And we can have, boom, we can have that one. That's one symbol for Ra. And then we can have this one, right? So this right here would be a standing wave. And this right here would be a resonant wave cavity, right? Or a symbol of a bound wave, right? So a bound wave. So remember, waves come in two categories. Two categories, right? Well, two categories of two categories, technically, because you got electromagnetic and mechanical, but that's not the categories. I mean, you have traveling waves, and then you have standing waves. So when you talk about a bound wave system, those waves are no longer traveling. Standing waves, right? And then you have a thing where it gets more nuanced, where you're not actually talking about waves, but the mathematical equivalent to a standing wave. We're just going to say standing wave, right? But those are the two shapes. So this is what I bring to the debate, mind you. You know, they say like you try to like, you hit a fly with a fly swatter. You know what I'm saying? I tried to hit a fly with like a rocket launcher. Right? But anyway, those are the two shapes. Right? So, all right, what are we talking about? Permeates, no fixed form. Instead, form emerges only when the wave function interacts with boundary conditions or constraints. This maps directly onto the Kemetic characterization of Ra. In theological texts, Ra travels through every realm, the sky, the earth, and duat without obstruction. He is described as the carrier of all potential forms, capable of becoming Khepri, Atum, Horakti, and hundreds of composite deities depending on his interactions. Ra's identity is not limited to a single form, but is the principle that enables forms. Functionally, Ra behaves as the propagating mode of the cosmos, everywhere present, constantly evolving, yet only taking specific structure when constrained by other gods, realms, or domains. In this reading, Ra corresponds not to a particle, but to the wave function itself, the universal continuous carrier whose transformation under constraints produces discrete states. This is not a metaphor. This is structural equivalence. The physics definition of a wave function and the theological description of Ra occupy identical conceptual roles. The Kemetic, Agdod, as the quantum field. If Ra corresponds to the wave function, then the Kemetic, the primordial ensemble of Nun, Nunet, He, Het, Ki, Ket, Amun, and Amenet, correspond naturally to the quantum field, the undifferentiated substrate from which all excitations arise. In quantum field theory, particles and energy modes are excitations localized. Now, let me stop right here for a second. That right there is what I went into the first debate with EnQi with. I know. That's shame on me, because I know that information was totally useless in that debate with EnQi. But again, these debates are not necessarily about me or the person that I'm debating. These debates are about putting certain information on a large platform and bringing attention to the information, right? So the debate allows us to bring attention to certain types of information that may not otherwise get attention. So give me a second here. I'm trying to find the book, because during that debate with EnQi, we did release 4 books. We released 4 books, and you need to have these books, because what's inside these books is insane. See, if you look even at the cover of this book, you see this black undifferentiated space where it says the Kemetic, and then you see Kepler rising from that space. Okay, I think it's this book. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's this book. F around and find out. Where we kind of went into detail. Yep, this is it right here. Okay, yep, this is it right here on page 21. So if you have Black's Anatomy, right? Black's Anatomy, AI solves the theory of evolution problem. Skip to page 21, and the chapter is Darwin violated Shu. Why would Darwin violate Shu? There seems to be no more design in the variability of organic beings and in the action of natural selection than in the course which the wind blows, right? So that's a quote from Darwin, where he says there's no, he was talking about creation, but he used the wind as an analogy of something dumb that is unintelligent or doesn't have the ability to organize. So I took personal offense to him violating Shu like that. Anyway, later in the chapter, we begin to discuss a part of my quantum field theory, right? My quantum field theory, and how the Kemetic serve as an early version of the quantum field. Oh, wait a minute. I even brung those. Hold on. Because I even brung those over. I brung those over. Let me pull that up real quick. Is this it right here? I think this is it. Because I brung those slides over from the first debate to the second debate. I brung those slides over. Let me see. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, but I didn't do them like I did them in the debate with Unc because I didn't have time. Right? Because the slides got music and all that, you know what I'm saying? And the time was so limiting that I couldn't really go into my music bag against Jabari, which is not by mistake. Jabari did not want to allow me to use my music against him in the debate. Can y'all see the slide? Okay, y'all can see. But these slides here, they should come up any day now. Did I pass them? I thought I put them slides. Where's them slides at? Okay, this is the first round. Oh, here they go right here. Boom. So yeah, so I had these all loaded up. Why it's not playing?
Stars collide. The sparrows, it's a cosmic ride from the Kemetic, where the whispers hum, ancient echoes in the rising sun. Fields unseen, they twist and turn. Worlds within, where the fires burn.
Yep. So we went into that. I went into these very briefly. in the debate with Jabari. I definitely spent a little bit more time on them with Unc. But again, I'm sure the large majority of the people that were watching did not know exactly what they were watching. Yeah, they didn't. Nah, that's just yeah. I got a couple of them joints. I never did anything with them joints. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. But again, because of the lack of time and understanding, this is why there's so many books that came out with the first debate, because there's so much information that I was trying to communicate with the slides that I know I wouldn't get the time to really talk about. Boom, drop the books. And a lot of what we're talking about now with Ra as the wave function and all of this stuff, and the Kemetic is the quantum field theory and blah, 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 all of that's already in these books from the Black's Anatomy series. So if you don't have those books, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be doing catch up. You're going to be playing catch up. All right, so let me get back to the article, because it's probably going to take us all day to get through this article now. Oh, are you trolling me now? Screen sharing was canceled. Okay. Why are you canceling my screen sharing, though? Oh, my God. Come on, StreamYard. Don't act crazy. Make sure you click share on the modal and not on cancel. Okay. Hit that. Oh, man. They done messed up my screen share again. Let me go out and come back. Yo, they trolling. They done turned off my screen share. StreamYard be playing these wild games. Okay, well, I will read. Just y'all won't be able to see what I'm reading. Y'all won't be able to see what I'm reading because StreamYard is officially trolling right now. All right, anyway, section 2, right? I believe we are in the abstract. Yep, abstract. In the abstract, we're in section 2. The Kemetic or the Ogdo, that's the quantum field. If Ra corresponds to the wave function, maybe, let me see, maybe if I reopen this and reclose it, will they? Stop sharing. Oh, this is the thing. Okay, what the hell is this? Okay, so it's like frozen. This thing is like it's frozen. Hold on. Jackpot. There we go. Okay, I done figured out what the problem is. So if it happens in the future, I'll know how to deal with it. I will know how to deal with it. Because I remember the first time it happened. It took me a minute to figure it out. It took me like a week to get my screen share back. Now I'm figuring out something totally different. The first time it had to do with the browser, but now there's some new thing that's at the top of my screen. I guess Google updated something or whatever. Anyway, that thing is getting stuck or frozen or whatever the case may be. Anyway, we back. Right? So in quantum field theory, particles and energy modes are excitations, localized disturbances of a deeper field. Fields are continuous, structureless in the absence of excitation, and possess symmetries representing fundamental properties such as darkness, lightlessness, boundlessness, motionlessness, or concealment. Give me 1 second, family. All right, sorry about that. Dad emergency. I should have put on the music. That was very unbecoming of me, right? Because y'all could have had some music instead of a stale screen. But I know some of y'all was probably screenshotting the screen anyway. Y'all just need to buy the book. Anyway, Ra emerges from the ogdode in the same way a wave function emerges as an excitation of the field. The structure of emergence is identical. A continuous background field gives rise to a propagating mode. Thus, the ancient cosmological architecture can be directly mapped onto the modern hierarchy: field, excitation, mode, manifestation. Kemenu, Ra, forms of Ra, created world. This mapping is precise, consistent, and mathematically coherent. The Amduat as an energy transformation cycle. The Amduat narrates Ra's 12-hour journey through the Duat, each hour representing a distinct transformation in his energy state. When interpreted through wave mechanics and quantum behavior, the Amduat reads as a 12-stage model of energy transfer, relaxation, absorption, reconstitution, and reemergence. In this motif, the travel of Ra corresponds to the propagation of a mode. The hours represent different energy domains or state transitions. Ra combining with Osiris represents the transfer of energy into matter, a perfect analog for photon absorption by electrons, initiating biochemical transformation. Reassembly of Ra's potency corresponds to the redistribution and reconstruction of the amplitude in a bound system. The emergence at dawn corresponds to the return of a fully constituted mode into the visible domain. This interpretation aligns the Amduat with the physics of energy cycling: excitation, decay, transfer, stabilization, and reemergence. The theological narrative functions as a symbolic compression of an energy transfer cycle in which light interacts with matter, disappears as a wave, and reemerges as a new state. 4. Medu-Neter geometry as wave geometry. Key hieroglyphic symbols preserve geometric patterns that mirror the behavior of standing waves. Two geometries dominate: the circumpunct, which is a dot within a circle, or the almond or lens-shaped mouth glyph, a tapered symmetric aperture. The circumpunct corresponds to the geometry of a spherical standing wave cavity, a central point surrounded by a quantized boundary. This shape reflects confinement, symmetry, and the emergence of stable modes. The almond-shaped mouth glyph corresponds to the lowest order standing wave solution in a constrained aperture. This geometry arises naturally whenever a wave is forced through a boundary with symmetric tapering. In Kemetic, this shape denotes articulation, resonance, and emergence, exactly the conditions required for a wave to become structured output. These symbols are not accidental. Their geometry reflects the same structure found in wave physics: confinement, symmetry, nodes, antinodes, and directional emission. Medu-Neter thus encodes wave behavior in visual form. The convex lens as the archetype of Ra passing through constraints. When a traveling wave encounters a convex lens, its wavefront curvature changes. Plane waves become converging spherical waves. Standing wave patterns are destroyed and replaced by new modes shaped by the lens's geometry. This behavior is a direct analog to the theological motif in which Ra, passing through gates, caverns, or regions, changes form according to the constraints imposed by those domains. The lens does not simply transmit light, it reshapes the wave function, imposing new phase relationships, altering interference patterns, and generating new stable modes. This is precisely what occurs when Ra becomes Khepri, Atum, Seker, Harakti, or other composite forms in different realms of the Amduat. The lens thus serves as a physical model for the theological principle. Identity is determined by boundary conditions imposed on the propagating mode. Ra is not many beings. He is one function undergoing transformation as he passes through constraints. Conclusion. By mapping wave mechanics onto the theological architecture of Kemet, this paper demonstrates that ancient symbolic systems can reflect surprisingly accurate depictions of energy propagation, emergence, quantization, and transformation. Ra corresponds functionally to the wave function, the Kemenu to the underlying quantum field, the Amduat to a multi-stage energy cycle, hieroglyphic geometry to wave geometry, and Ra's shifting identities to the behavior of a wave encountering constraints. This motif demonstrates historical scientific intentionality and shows that the ancient schema and the modern scientific model share deep structural unity rooted in the fundamental behavior of waves and fields. The Uraeus becomes fully intelligible once it is interpreted as a representation of wave behavior rather than zoology. In the classical reading, the Uraeus is an upright cobra attached to the forehead of Ra, or the crowns of kings. It stands, emits flames, escorts the sun, and behaves in ways that no biological serpent ever would. These descriptions have always produced. So anybody telling you that these depictions of animals in Kemet are just based on observing animals, they're not really paying attention to the stories, right? Because anyway, these descriptions have always produced interpretive strain in traditional Egyptology because they do not correspond to known animal behavior. However, the moment the Uraeus is treated as a description of wave phenomena, specifically the behavior of standing and traveling waves, every attribute becomes coherent and structurally consistent. A standing wave naturally forms a vertical oscillating shape that appears to stand up from a boundary with rhythmic motion. This pattern, when stylized, resembles the undulating form of the Uraeus rising from a crown. Standing waves hold position while containing internal motion, matching the depiction of the Uraeus as simultaneously still and alive. Yet texts also describe Uraei traveling alongside Ra, winding, circling, and projecting outward. These are the characteristics of traveling waves, which propagate through space rather than remain bound. The dual behavior of Uraei, some fixed, some moving, mirrors the duality of wave functions, which exists as both stationary modes and propagate modes depending on boundary conditions. The Uraeus also spits fire or emits rays of heat and light. These emissions are nonsensical as snakes' behavior, yet they precisely match the physics of field emission, in which a standing mode releases energy into a traveling form at points of discontinuity or curvature. When placed on the forehead of Ra or on royal crowns, the Uraeus occupies the exact position where a radiative maximum would appear in a spherical cavity or dipole system. It functions symbolically as the point from which energy projects, and this matches the textual claim that the Uraeus protects by projecting the eye of Ra. which behaves as an outgoing field, not as a biological entity. Dual urea on crowns arranged symmetrically reflect the geometry of dual modes in wave and field physics. Dipoles, paired resonances, and symmetrical emission patterns all require paired forms. The presence of wajet and nekbet is not merely political, it represents complementary or balancing modes in a structured field system. When urea coil around Ra's solar boat, their forms reproduce toroidal field geometries such as plasma loops, poloidal coils, and curved electromagnetic paths. These geometries are physically natural, but biologically impossible, reinforcing the argument that the Uraeus encodes wave principles rather than animal symbolism. Because the Uraeus appears only on crowns or scenes involving solar power and never on Osirian contexts, its role becomes even clearer. The Uraeus represents the active mode of Ra, his wave behavior expressed as emission, projection, or oscillation. When Ra is present, waves are active. When Osiris dominates, the system is in a state of inert structure without radiative output. The Uraeus is therefore best understood as the outward manifestation of Ra as wave function, the mode that emerges when the propagating form interacts with boundaries or domains. In this reading, the Uraeus is not a serpent, but a visual abstraction of the fundamental behavior of waves, standing, radiating, curving, protecting, and transforming as they interact with the world. It is Ra's mode expressed geometrically. This interpretation resolves the long-standing contradictions in the traditional zoological reading and situates the Uraeus within a coherent, scientifically compatible motif that aligns with wave mechanics, field theory, and structured symbolism of Kemet. Right? All right, and then, you know, we go through, we have some reference material there for the article, right? We have some reference material right up in there for the article, right? Short, little sweet joint. Yeah, short, little sweet joint. That's just a sample introduction of the book, but obviously you can hear some of that in the music. Right? Let me see. You can hear some of that in the music. I try to, you know, because the brain works. There's the reading and studying, and then there's the music part, and they engage differently. So when you study from both directions, one subject, it makes remembering, learning way faster, right? So we put some of the concepts in the music that engage you over here. We put some of the concept, well, we put all the concepts in the books and the lectures and whoop in the classes that engages you in a different way. Should make it a lot easier and faster, which is why we say what? The books are the food, the songs are the vitamins. The books are the food, the songs are the vitamins. Okay, wait, so I just want to add to that though, because it's in the book, but we're not going to discuss it right this second. But so you start with wave phenomena, right? And that's kind of in the quantum space. From wave phenomena, right? From traveling waves, you get standing waves. From standing waves, you now get atoms. Once you put atoms together, right, you now get the compounds and molecules that form life, right? Now, the thing about Osiris, one of the things about Osiris is that Osiris being green, right? He represents the concept that the Neteru, particularly Ra, but the Neteru are working through the plants. The Neteru are working through the plants, right? And so through the plants, we're able to funnel the Neteru into our bodies, right? So there's that that relationship with animals or people, more specifically to plants, right? And that understanding, if people want to argue it's a rudimentary understanding or whatever, but there's definitely a clear understanding of photosynthesis, right? Especially in the Amduat. That's why I kind of pick out the Amduat. But there's a clear understanding of photosynthesis, right? Ra, the sun, combines with Osiris with the green skin, and then we get wheat and we get plants, we get food, right? So there's a clear understanding of photosynthesis to some degree. You want to argue what that degree is, have at it, but there's a clear understanding of that, right? And so even on a molecular level, right? Even on a molecular level, right? And this goes back to, man. So when I was living in Jersey, I was living off of Broad Street in Jersey, and in the towers, right? And so I got hip to this dude out there. I would go to these little book spots and, same way I am, right? And so a guy introduced himself to me, and he starts telling me about breatharians. He starts telling me about breatharians and Wiley Brooks and all of this stuff. So anyway, my argument then is the same argument I have now, right? Because a lot of people combine those kind of concepts and ideas with melanin, right? Wherever you hear those kind of breatharian, it's like, yeah, because our melanin can get food from the sun and blah, 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 blah. And I always tell them, but that's not exactly possible if you don't eat, right? Because your body is constantly replacing itself. And animals, especially humans, we don't make aromatic amino acids. We do not produce those. Those are a part of the essential amino acids we need to consume every day. And those come from plants. So even if we want to think like, okay, we have the ability to produce electricity, magnetism, light, and blah, 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 blah. Without the plants, you would be incorrect. Because on a molecular level, we need the plants so we could consume the aromatic amino acids that our body needs to make pigments, one of which is our blood, right? So if we don't get aromatic amino acids in, there's no blood. We don't get aromatic amino acids in, there's no melanin. Pheomelanin, eumelanin, neuromelanin, there's no melanin, right? So all of that comes from the plants. So there's it's almost like an entendre, because there's levels to how it is that plants allow us to consume the quote unquote natures, or to bring the gods into the flesh, right? So on one level, you can say photosynthesis, right? The plants are producing carbohydrates and all that by absorbing the sun. That's because they got the pigment factory. We consume the carbohydrates, the fruits, the vegetables, bam. So we're getting in some of those natural energies, right? That's one level. But then on the next level, those raw materials that we get from the plants allow us to construct our pigment. So now we have the ability to translate light into usable information, or vitamin D, or, you know, use heme to carry iron and carry oxygen to the tissues and all that stuff. So, right. So Osiris represents that. You know what I'm saying? Osiris represents that as the perfect black who's always green. And then they obviously give you, you know, so that it's not like you just making a loose association. Like, oh, well, green and chlorophyll. And so, yeah, that must be that. No, in the Amduat, it literally tells you that his flesh is plants. Plants are growing out of his skin, right? After being combined with Ra. So we understand that as absolutely a photosynthetic process. So yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a sample of what was in the kitchen, what we was cooking. Yeah, just a little sample of what we was cooking.
Sliding doing dirt. Sliding doing dirt. Sliding doing dirt. Divine Naga symbol. Go shine on my crown.
Hold on, but that song that ain't the song. This is the song, right?
I love him, Dr. EnQi.
I don't know if you know the score for sure. It's a mental holy war. Only the pure can abstain from obscure. Anali Kro. Melanin verse diabetes, we in here.
Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Stone Age sermons, they scratching the scrolls, teaching the gods don't exist. Truth unfolds. I'm about to give them a long kiss. More, lay them down, make them witness the cha-cha. Game jumping wild, pogo sticks in the fog. They can't pull a source for the wave of the god. Knock me down, I stand back up. Bounce like I'm rubber, pressure won't disrupt. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Fitted flat brim, God lay, I'm him. Retiring these old netches the hard way, grim. Spit sharper than violin strings on the wind. Cut through the noise, my essence akin to kin. They stone walls, I'm lava cracks. Melting their facts with this fire axe. Pull the strings, watch the wave function bend. Human beatbox, heartbeat, never pretend. Black's academy, scratch on the map. Boop, 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 the cadence don't collapse.
Play 0 games with these lames. It's up and it's stuck up.
Teaching them the real cry. Teaching them the real cry. Killing them by giving life. Perhaps a slave, collapse away. Synapse engaged to map the maze. Ask him to pull a source for the wave function. I'm him. I wrote that, quote that, note that. Cornerstone, they rejected, grow back. Black turned ink, then ink hotel. Took an oath to Christ, King Joseph. Flow, slept, broke, blessed. Knowledge they ain't know yet. This a mental holy war. I didn't know the score. I got his music, this the encore. Strings cry, violence sing. A vibrant thing, a vibrant thing. A vibe bring God with a thing hot. That boy got plucked in the head with a slingshot ink. We know the debate 3-0. The debate was 3-0. Yeah, the debate was 3-0. If Christ is the way, think about this. The waveform exists, the standing wave exists. Christ exists, Osiris exists, Ra exists. Atheists ain't Stone Age legends teaching the gods don't exist. I'm about to give them a long kiss. Lay them down, I got the game jumping. Ask them to pull a source for the wave function. They knock me down and I stand back up. They knock me down and I stand back up. I'm him, fitted flat brim, God, let return these old natures the hard way. In the beginning of Ponce come planet, a manifest garden, quantum mechanics, science, life is dope for microscopes. Sight in the night so dope, I might bite your throat. One of them yo Rayers type players, just winning Bronx, Yankees, Oakland Raiders, quoting haters. Then kill them and turn them into smoking favors, and rolling papers, and rolling classes. We holding classes, returning stolen classes, and get a sense, say what your kids say. Got off the raw music by MJ, mouth of creation, words so wavy, shorting an equation, flow so crazy. Wave function, unification is an option. Stronger together, that's how we rockin'. Die, 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 diamonds are forever. Die, diamonds are forever. Die, diamonds are forever. Die, diamonds are forever. Atoms of wave, crystallizations, mitochondria, official libations. No little green man, just dark green skin. Craziest thing you've never seen. Black people are really green. Revelations, plans, heal nations. Getting out the mud, reverses, tribulation. 7.365 is the station. Allegation, precipitation. We make it rain, baby. This gestation. We creators, you be haters, cheap traders, debaters, pause, moving food equators. We waiters, see papers, the makers, the players of the planet Earth. Father of civilization, God of the universe. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Knock me down, I stand back up. Bounce like I'm rubber, pressure won't disrupt. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Knock me down, I stand back up. Bounce like I'm rubber, pressure won't disrupt. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy. Black's anatomy, Black's academy.
Yeah, I feel like we should just do a little bit more though. Right? We should do a little bit more. What do you think? We should do a little bit more? Should I go back into the book a little bit more? I think I should do a little bit more. Yeah, I think I should do a little bit more. I was about to end the video, but I think I should do a little bit more. What y'all think? All right, yeah, we cooking. All right, so let's go. I know exactly the section we need to go into. I know exactly what we need to go into. We're going to skip around in the book. Let's go. Okay. All right, we got all this Schrodinger equation foolishness. Right? We got all this Schrodinger equation stuff. See, you trolling. Yo. Nah, hold on though. Hold on. It's let me see. Because I know what I want to do. Because I know somebody, no matter what I'm saying, they're gonna say, but hold on, what about the plant? What about the plant genetics? I don't understand how that fits into the plant genetics. this might be too much. Maybe we don't. Maybe, yeah, maybe this is it. All right, this chapter is super long, though. That's kind of crazy. Just give me 1 second, family. In fact, see, that's what I was rude last time. I should have put on something while I was looking around. I should have, you know what I mean? Yeah, while I was looking around, yeah, I should have put on a nice little musical selection and all that. So we can go to the remix of the Beatles. I think the remix of the Beatles definitely needs some love. Let's go to that.
Rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide. Energy whispers, it never says goodbye. The Beatles crawl, the Beatles rise. A wave becomes a particle, a sphere holds the flame. Disorder bursts the chaos, yet the chaos rise. My name, Beatles, 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 over and over, spinning the world in the grip of their shoulders. Beatles, 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 under and over, rolling through time till the blackness is sober. The heat fades lower, the order begins. The stillness so perfect, it hums from within. The void sings softly, entropy takes a bow. In the shadow of silence, the scarab knows how. The second law is dancing, feeding life through decay. The third law holds the promise that the stillness will stay. Time till the blackness is sober. None in the dark, side everywhere. Kept her on the move ever, that's still forever. Side in the sky, I don't sleep, I oscillate. Rise the wave, I don't age, I propagate. Kept her push the peg, let the light reincarnate. Feel to the form, yeah, the state change, demonstrate. Side in the sky, yeah, the state never static. Collapse when I touch, then the funk get automatic. From the dark to the dawn, from the void to matter. Wave turn, body up, body turn, shatter. I'm the function in the dark, all the states inside me. A path, every form, every fate beside me. Before you see a thing, I'm already spread. Probability king, I be living in the spread. I don't move like a body, reality, I exist like a field. Every option in me, I ain't locked to what's real. Till the boundary hit, till the atom get bold. Then I snap to a value, now the story get told. They say light just travel, I say nah, I decide. When the walls show up, that's when I divide right side. Yeah, I feel all space till the system demand. I collapse to a face, from the dew to the dawn. I be phase on phase, superposed in the dark with infinite rays. They worship the disc, but they miss the truth. I ain't just what you see, I'm the unseen proof. Inside in the sky, I don't sleep, I oscillate. Ride as a wave, I don't age, I propagate. Can't push the back, let the light reincarnate. From the to the form, yeah, the state change, demonstrate. Sigh in the sky, yeah, the state never static. I collapse when I touch, then the form get automatic. From the dark to the dawn, from the void to the matter. Wave turn body, then the body turn shatter. On the bump in the field, yeah, I move with the sun. Localized in the noise, I'm the chosen one. All that spreading raw, I'm the piece that advance. I'm the back of that ride when the function collapse. Roll the disc like a charge on the face of the dawn. From the ripple of none, I be physically born. Wave was everywhere, now it move like me. From infinite haze to a certainty, I carry the energy, not the whole map. I'm the moment it manifests, now I got a path. Bring it staff, music and stick. It don't mean it. I still gotta hear from the superposition to the single display. Keep on push the light through the edge of the day. When the boundary hit, that's when I exist. When the mirror show up, that's when I persist. I don't rule the field, I just surf the face till the sun get reset and I rise again. Green skin in the field, Osiris on lock. Downstate matter, but he need that ride shot. Photon hit, leave now, the electron jump. Wave from the sky, make the sugar pump. Rise the wave, make the charge relocate. Kept her in a chain, make the packet translate. Osiris, take the light, lock it into the grain. Raising the roots, now I feed the whole chain. From the frequencies drop to the glucose rise. That's an underworld word that they mythologize. They call it guys, but it's physics in cloud. Wave hit molecule, now the carbon get caught. None in the background, 0, 1, 10. All the motion begin when the wave drop in. Ride don't got shape to the wash your face. Kept her only born when the field meets space. Beetlejuice, feed the grooves, we the truth. Teaching truth, the wave is Gucci. Quantum is Gucci, but we dangerous like playing Salucci. With a Uzi, it's a movie. The books and the songs is a two-piece. Rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide. And she whispers, it never says goodbye. The Beatles crawl, the Beatles crawl.
Yo, I was killing it. Yo, I'm dead. I can't believe that. Yo, I was killing it. Yo, I was going in. I was going in. There's no way I'll remember what I said exactly. Yo, I was going in. Oh my God. So y'all didn't hear none of this. Okay. Let's start that again. We are going to be here through prayer. We might as well get prayer in. Yeah, we might as well get prayer in. Because I don't want to stop in the middle for prayer. That is not what I want to do. So we might as well get that in right now. Right? Yep. Dr. EnQi prayer. Bam. Just share out the way.
We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set our cells into perpetual motion. We give thanks for the magnetism of the Most Holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats alight 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes, flooding the river of life. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries and turned them into stone. We give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium and turned them into stone. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter, turning our heart to stone. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vena cava into the right atrium. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown, joining the vortex in the right atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway to the vineyard. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate to the vineyard closes. We give thanks to the Most High God that provides the light and our breath, and the light in our breath. We give thanks for the fine olfactory system that makes our grapes ripe with light. We give thanks for the Jed pillar that provides us with a stable fleet of ferry boats to dock in our vineyard. We give thanks for smooth sailing through the pulmonary vein into the storm of the left atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter closes. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and our caves. Amen.
All right. Yeah, see, my mic got a little button up here. But it doesn't show on the screen that the mic is muted. So sometimes I can hit the button so that there's no feedback and forget to unhit the button. All right, so now let's do this again. Man, y'all missed all that though. I was really going in. That was crazy. All right, so basically, what I was saying was, because I don't know what y'all heard or what y'all didn't hear. What I was saying was, this little section in the book is the bridge, because I know some people, shout out to Regina, luckily we could read, right? But some people can't read, you know what I'm saying? And well, some people can't read, but some people can't read because they can't read, but some people can't read because they scamming right now, right? There's at least probably 5 or 10 people that's listening to this video that have no business listening to this video. They either at work or in school, and they're not supposed to be on YouTube right now. So they got the headset in, or they got the volume mad low, you know what I'm saying? Trying to fake like they not really, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to fake like they paying attention or really doing their job, but they tuned in with us. So they counting on us. They listening to the video. You know what I'm saying? Or we might have a truck driver or two. You know what I'm saying? We might have somebody that drive for a living, Uber, trucks, whatever, CDL, you know. So we got some folks that can't read because they can't read, and then some folks that can't read because they're not even supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? They focused on something. So they counting on us to do the reading for them. And I'm counting on them to go get the book, right? Stop playing. Go and get the Bookington. Yeah, go to the Barnes and Nobles and grab the first book. Go to Amazon, get the other book. Exactly. Look. I'm telling you, because that's what I used to be doing at work. I got my Bluetooth in, like I got one Bluetooth in. You know what I'm saying? I got just one in this ear, like so I can hear what's going on over here, and then gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let me get this back up on the screen. All right. But yeah, so what I was saying was this section of the book is where we kind of transition from the quantum conversation of energy and geometry and all of those kind of things and standard waves. And we kind of make it make sense to where you can understand why that conversation is important to a plant genetics conversation. Because typically with a plant typically with a book titled Plant Genetics, right? People are looking for something more in line with what the other books in the Ebers Papyrus series is like, right? Where you kind of name some herbs, and you may go through those herbs in terms of, you know, like what the benefits are, and then you might get to the nitty gritty and go into, you know, like what specific components of the plant are therapeutic and how that chemistry ties into your body and blah, 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 right? But what I wanted to do for the FND, the Forensic Natural Detective Academy, right? I wanted to be a little bit more thorough. You know how we do. We got to set the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like we not playing. You know what I'm saying? I said that at the very beginning. And when I say the very beginning, I'm talking about the very, 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 very beginning. Yeah, I'm literally the first person in the conscious community that got scammed by Polite. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm the first person that got scammed by Polite. Do y'all want to hear the story of how I got scammed by Polite? Does anybody want to hear that story? The Dr. EnQi got scammed by Polite story? Who wants to hear that story? All right, it's too late because I'm telling y'all anyway. So I had written a couple of books. I had written a couple of books back in the 90s. Okay, yeah. Absolutely. I'm sure people have heard this story already. You know what I'm saying? But it's always a good retelling. It's always a good retelling. It's not that juicy though. You know what I'm saying? It's not that juicy though. I hope his family's doing well though. You know, speaking of Polite out loud. You know what I'm saying? Polite is Lord Voldemort, he who should not be named. You know what I'm saying? But I, you know, I do hope my aunt is doing well. But I had written some books in high school, like messing around, putting some stuff together. And I had finally got a book together that I thought was pretty good. And so it was kind of in the space like Behold a Pale Horse. Think of that. Behold a Pale Horse, but like a health version of that. You know what I'm saying? Like somewhere along those lines. And I had sent the book out to a bunch of publishers. Mind you, this is a long time ago. I got the book in like a black and white notebook. You know what I'm saying? I'm typing it up, trying to, you know, get it published. I'm sending it to different publishers, and they're scared of this book. They're like, nah, we're not. Sorry. Like literally a couple, like, sorry, it is a great read. It's very intense, but we just don't publish material like this. And I got some version of I'm sorry from a good handful of publishers, and then I just stopped trying. That was that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, that's never going to happen. So that was it. I just put the book down and went on with my life. Fast forward years later. This is years later. I'm on 125th, and I'm buying some DVDs. I'm buying some DVDs from Sa, and I think I was out there complaining. I was like, yo, the information is trash. Ain't nobody teaching no real health information or something to that. I don't know, something to that effect. But then he told me, that's the day he told me about Ali Muhammad. He was like, yo, you and this brother, I know this brother, you and him could teach each other a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a brother down. He be at the National Black teaching. You should go down there and check out his class. He probably down there right now. So I was like, I bet. And that's the first day I met Ali Muhammad. I went down there and caught Ali's class. It was either that day or maybe the next time I went down there to Ali's class. Polite was in Ali's class. Polite was down there, and I forgot what he was talking about. He was coming up doing something. Now, don't get it twisted, because we were in Ali's class. We were not Ali students. But it was a place to share. You know what I'm saying? It was a place to share. And in order for you to share, you had to be shared with. You know what I'm saying? So when people's presenting, you know, you're an audience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I like to be a student. I like to learn from everybody. Age doesn't, you know, I don't care. Black, white, young, old, whatever the case may be. But Polite was down there talking about the number 9 or something he had got from Dr. York or whatever the case may be. Anyway, he was doing his thing. And at the end of his class, because I don't think I really paid much attention. I was in the back. This is even before the word trolling was even a thing. But I was in the back trolling with Blue Pill. Yeah, me and Blue Pill. Anyway, he said that he prints his own books. I was like, did he just say he prints his own books? He's like, yeah, I think he said he prints his own books. I was on him. And I was like, yo, how do you print books? Like, how do you do that? Because I got a book that I wrote years ago that nobody will publish. They said it's too crazy. So yeah, how can I just like make my own book? He was like, well, you know, it's a little complicated, you know what I'm saying? But if you give me a few dollars, yeah, if you give me a few dollars, you know what I'm saying? I could print them for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll print them for you. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, give me a little deposit. You know what I'm saying? And I was so thirsty to have my book printed. I should have knew, because we know in the Bronx that Brooklyn people is like, the Bronx and Brooklyn don't really mix like that. You know what I'm saying? Because people in Brooklyn, they feel like the Bronx is too violent. And people in the Bronx feel like people in Brooklyn is like too like scammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, people in Brooklyn could sell your clothes back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, while you still in them. Like, but anyway, he hustled me out of $300. And he was supposed to bring me the books in 2 weeks. Yeah, he's supposed to bring me the books in 2 weeks. And that went on to a lot of craziness, where I wound up in his house 6 months later, you know, not ever getting the books, but getting some of my money back, and forcing him to show me his book setup and how it worked. So, yeah, so I had given him the 300 plus another 300 when he said he lost the first 300, came up with a wild story. Anyway, I wanted to give him like $600. At the end of the day, though, he gave me most of the 600 back, and he showed me the whole process. You know what I'm saying? And we actually did print one single book, to show me how the whole process worked. What type of printer to get, what type of paper, what type of ink, what type of cutter, how to bind them, the glue, the pins, the whole process. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was definitely Polite's first scam victim in the community. But I never looked at it like that. I always appreciated that scamming, because I appreciate things in life. Nothing has ever come easy to me. So that thing was so valuable to me. And I don't know if it would have been as valuable had he did it the way he was supposed to. But because me and him had to go back and forth, and it wound up getting crazy. And, you know, I took that as a very valuable skill. And that's how I did my books for a really long time. I printed them myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I didn't have no, you know, printing myself in the house. So I had wet books all over the place, house smelling like a combination of book ink and book glue in a small apartment in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel that bad because I learned the actual trade. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a trade back then. This is before self-publishing internets and all this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? There was no such thing as that. You had to actually get someone to publish your book. So there was a space where, you know, I had books for a long time before self-publishing came along. A long time before self-publishing, and way before Amazon and all that start opening up the door. No, I didn't make the Eat Right myself. The Eat Right was the first book that I made with self-publishing people in Ohio. Yeah. No, is that the first book I did with them? No, I had a book called Black Gene Ethics. That was the first book I did with them. But these were some folks in Ohio that that did self-publishing, but they were super expensive. Super expensive. And you had to pay up front. Like they were selling drugs. They was wild. Yeah. Wild. You know what I'm saying? You had to pay them up front or you ain't getting no books. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. So there was times back then that I had to sell the books before I had the books, then take the money and then pay them the money to get the books, because they also had wild minimums. Yeah, so $1,000, $2,000. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I don't have no thousand. I still don't got no $1,000, but it was wild back then. It was wild back then. Yeah, that definitely put a strain on my household too. Definitely put a strain on my household, but it was for the love of the game. It was for the love of the game. God has me wearing blinders, and I have to focus on the mission. The mission. That's what I got to do. I got to focus on the mission, which is dropping this information. Period. That is what I'm bound to do. Like how we look at the wave bound in a resonant wave cavity. I'm bound to this oath, to God. All right. So anyway, this chapter in the book bridges the gap between the quantum space and the plants, right? So let's go through this so people can go back to what it is that they'll be doing mid-afternoon, because my children will be coming in and this house will get noisy very shortly. All right. Alkaloids. Alkaloids are typically your bitters, right? Alkaloids are bitter. So usually whenever you have plants, herbs, and there's bitters, like in most bitter formulas, most of the active bitters that you're tasting are alkaloids, right? Alkaloids are built around nitrogen atoms embedded in ring systems. In standing wave terms, these nitrogen atoms act as a charge-dense nodal anchor that reshapes the surrounding electron standing wave field into a highly asymmetric, tightly confined resonance. The carbon motif forms a multinodal wave cavity around this nitrogen node. Because nitrogen introduces a lone pair standing wave lobe with a strong phase imbalance, Alkaloids naturally generate sharp electrostatic gradients and highly localized electronic modes. This is why alkaloids strongly couple to nerve receptors. Their standing wave architecture is already tuned to lock into biological electric field patterns. All right. And that's the reason why a lot of narcotics are alkaloids. Yeah, a lot of narcotics are alkaloids because remember, your nervous system includes your neurons, right? Your nervous system includes your neurons. So alkaloids are built to function through your nervous system, which includes your brain, right? So there are a lot of alkaloids. Matter of fact, let's hit the Google demons. Let's hit the Google demons and just see, just out of curiosity. Let's take a peep. Illegal drugs that are alkaloids. Can y'all see that? Yep. Oh yeah, I can see it. Yep. Look at that. Cocaine, opiates, other alkaloids, mescaline, ibogaine, kratom. Okay, these is in Europe. Them drugs ain't really in America like that. I know one of them is in Africa. Look, LSD, right? LSD. So yeah, so there's a bunch of drugs that are considered alkaloids. But most of these are all from plants, right? Most of these are all plants, right? Let me see. Are there alkaloids in cigarettes? Okay, I might be pushing it. Oh, nope. There's definitely alkaloids in cigarettes. Nicotine being the most prominent. So nicotine itself is also an alkaloid. All right. So yeah. So alkaloids all over the place. Right? Alkaloids are all over the place. Right? So yeah, we getting into the plant genetics for real, right? All right, terpenoids, modular isoprene standing wave chains. Terpenoids are assembled from repeating isoprene units in our ancient modern standing wave language. Each isoprene unit behaves as a repeatable resonance module with a fixed phase length. When these units are linked, their electron standing waves phase lock end to end, forming long coherent wave chains or closed resonant loops. Cyclic terpenes arise when the terminal waves rejoin in phase, creating ring resonators with stable orbital circulation. Their volatility reflects low inertia standing wave confinement, allowing rapid energy exchange with the surrounding field. Phenolics. Phenolics include some pigments in plants as well, right? Phenols. Aromatic standing wave rings with oxygen modulation, right? So this is important for our whole spiritual discussion, right? And the breath and all of that good stuff. Phenolics are defined by aromatic rings with hydroxyl substitution. Aromatic rings are circular standing wave cavities where delocalized electrons form a rotational resonance. All right, so we did this. We actually did this back when we had dropped the Black Lines Matter book. When we did the Black Lines Matter book, we spent a good bit of time on this. And I don't know where that book is right now. I would like to pop that out. All right. Yeah, well, who knows where the Black Lines Matter book is. But if you don't have it, maybe I don't have one. Oh, here it goes right here. This is the Black Lines Matter book, right? In this book, we kind of spent a little bit of time on it, right? And I tried to make some cheesy, you can see that. Here's a bigger one. Yeah, see that diagram? This is what we're talking about in the book right now, right? This is that. That's the aromatic. That's the aromatic ring, right? That's the aromatic ring, right? But that's also that hexagon geometry, blah, blah, blah. All of that hexagonal structure that's ever so popular throughout nature, right? 6 sides, right? So in here, electrons are able to create nice little vortex, a nice little vortex. So there is a relationship of these aromatic rings to energy distribution and translation. That is the shape that nature uses to bust down energy, right? My mic is working, right? All right. So anyway, where was we at? Blah, 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 blah. They added oxygen. Anyway, phenolics are defined by aromatic rings with hydroxyl substitution. Aromatic rings are circular standing wave cavities where delocalized electrons form a rotational resonance. The added oxygen introduces a phase shifting boundary condition that locally distorts this ring resonance, changing node placement and energy density. This creates molecules with intense field stabilizing and electron donating standing wave behavior, which is why phenolics are powerful antioxidants. They redistribute external electron disturbances across a highly stabilized ring resonance system. And then, of course, right in here, where you see electron donating, right? That is language to tell you alkaline or base, right? Alkaline or base, electron donating, right? Or you could just think adding electricity to the body, right? Anyway, glycosides, sugar standing waves coupled to active resonators. A glycoside is a sugar wave structure bound to a non-sugar active field. In standing wave terms, the sugar is a high flexibility oscillatory lattice whose many hydroxyl groups support broad, low energy standing wave modes. When this lattice couples to a rigid aromatic or terpenoid standing wave system, the sugar acts as a field damping and transport shell, controlling solubility, stability, and localization. The biological activation of glycosides occurs when enzymatic action breaks the phase lock between the two coupled standing wave systems. Essential oils. Volatile standing wave emitters. Essential oils consist mainly of small terpenoid standing wave systems with minimal mass confinement. Their electron standing waves are weakly bound and easily perturbed, allowing rapid coupling to thermal and electromagnetic fields. This makes them effective wave emitters, readily transferring their standing wave energy into the surrounding air and biological field. Their strong odor corresponds to low-mass electronic resonators that radiate coherent molecular scale energy into olfactory receptors. Now, let me just add this in here, because I know somebody needs to hear this. I know. Trust me, I've been there. I know it is much easier to go, yes, there is energy in the human body. And that is why we have chakras. I know it. It's much easier to just imaginary Dragon Ball Z, you know, yeah, 7 balls, 7 glowing chakra ball. I know it. But it is a waste of time and energy and money. Actually learning about the real energy system in the human body takes a little bit more time. It definitely takes some more patience. It definitely takes some more money. Yeah, because you're going to need a lot more than just one 60-page book. You got to stop running around with them cheap books. Yeah, you got to stop running around with that. Learn how to see auras and activate the chakras in 15 minutes. Stop purchasing those types of books. Do not buy those again. Anyway, polysaccharides, extended standing wave lattices. Polysaccharides are long chains of sugar units. Each glucose unit contributes a repeatable node antinode pattern, and when polymerized, they form macroscopic standing wave frameworks extending across large molecular distances. These act as structural field scaffolds that distribute mechanical stress and electric polarization as coherent wave patterns rather than point loads. Cellulose, for example, is not just a chain of units, but a crystalline standing wave lattice for both mechanical and electromagnetic field propagation. Steroids. Multi-ring standing wave harmonic stacks. Steroids are composed of 4 fused rings. Each ring is a circular standing wave cavity, and their fusion produces a stacked harmonic resonator with fixed phase relationships between layers. This creates an exceptionally rigid 3-dimensional standing wave scaffold with precise electric field topology. Small modifications on this scaffold produce large biological effects because they shift phase distribution across the entire multi-ring standing wave system. Okay. Organic acids. Proton tunable standing wave systems. Organic acids are defined by carboxyl standing wave groups that can shift between protonated and deprotonated states. In wave terms, they are dynamic boundary condition modulators. The presence or absence of a proton dramatically changes node position and electron phase in the local standing wave field. This is why organic acids act as field regulators in metabolism. They toggle between wave configurations that control energy flow through enzymatic and mitochondrial standing wave networks. Ligands, coupled aromatic standing wave systems. Ligands arise from the coupling of 2 phenylpropanoid units. Each unit is an aromatic standing wave cavity. When 2 are joined, they form a dual resonator system with cross-phase coupling. This produces molecules with unusually stable distributed electron resonance, giving them strong antioxidant and signaling properties. Their biological activity reflects the ability of coupled standing wave rings to buffer and redistribute external electronic disturbances across 2 synchronized resonant domains. Cannabinoids, everybody's favorite. Hybrid terpenoid phenolic standing wave architectures. Cannabinoids combine a terpene standing wave backbone with a phenolic aromatic ring. This creates a hybrid resonance system where rotational terpene modes phase lock with circular aromatic standing wave modes. This result, or the result, is a molecule with high field sensitivity and receptor-specific wave matching. Their psychoactive and regulatory effects arise because their standing wave geometry is finely tuned to the electromagnetic and conformational wave modes of neural receptors. Unified standing wave conclusion. Across all these classes, the classical language of atoms, bonds, and reactions can be replaced by a single physical statement. Plant compounds are stabilized standing wave architectures built from phase-locked electron resonances interacting within carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen field lattices. Diversity arises not from different substances, but from different allowed standing wave geometries, phase couplings, and resonance topologies inside the same underlying quantum field. This is taught by Ray combining with different Necheru all the time. A key for me was figuring out that we don't produce aromatic amino acids. This means the ability to absorb light comes from plants. Without the aromatic amino acids from plants, we would not be able to form pigments. No pigments, no breath. Game over. All right, so that's just a little intro. The book is, I think, like 500 or 600 pages. I think today we probably went over about maybe eight pages. Yeah, maybe 7 or 8 pages. So the book, it is a, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to give y'all a good introduction into the main 2 aspects of the book and how they come together. Right? So hopefully, along with my technical difficulties and all that, right?
My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. You are quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite. Biochemistry, you don't consider it. Wrote 200 books on this, you scribbling. Pages of nonsense, fake riddling. God level spitter, no middleman. You dummy, just love me, stop fiddling. God goofy haters, stop blazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out of time. From yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Know the metal nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyphs, no methodology. Your theories don't vibe, just apologies. I'm a pyramid scheme in real life, no chronology. The baseline hits make the moon crack. I'm a shadow in the night where the goons at. Strings weep like psalms in a tempo. Heavy 808 shake the mantle. Piano keys drop fundamental. Life symphony is monumental. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. Light split, hobby, double slit, first cuss golly. Create electricity and magnetism probably is understood. I'm good in the hood as long as God got me. My yesterday, yeah. Tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of wave. The plug is like a wave. You can't copy respect. I'm the go. The mind on age, middle is a standing wave. The plug is like a myth. You can't copy respect. Yeah. You are quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite, but I go ninja. You don't consider it. I wrote 200 books on this, you scribbling pages of nonsense, fake riddling, God level spitter, no middleman. You a dummy, just let me stop fiddling. All press scheme and get your head right. Melanin, envious, diabetes, from me right there, dug out, Gordy C. Pause, no Blavatsky. Pause, no Blavatsky. The haters might have shot me, devil almost got me on you. That's why I'm cocky. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. Like split, hobby double slit first. Cause golly, create electricity and magnetism. Probably it's understood I'm good in the hood as long as God got me. On God, goofy haters stop glazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out here trail racing. From electric boogie, yeah. My yesterday, your tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow. From the home of the Apollo, I spit and you swallow. I'm here. Slide for winning, slide for winning, here. Slide for winning, slide for winning, here. Swallow, I'm here. Know the meta nature, but you flunk biology. Talking hieroglyphs, no methodology. Your theories don't vibe, just apologies. I'm a pyramid scheme in real life, no chronology. The baseline hits make the moon crack. I'm a shadow in the night where the goons at. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. From
does it trouble you, we fresh? Worry you, we blessed. Shame on you, WTF. Does it trouble you, we fresh? Worry you, we blessed. Shame on you, WTF. I can be well dressed and still be conscious. Drip so heavy it's a larkness. Name brand's part of the game plan. Still I'm moving sharp like a blade fan. Who he? Name Mr. Gucci frame. Kemetic Kabbalah with the Sufi gang. Preaching, vegan eating, sushi lane. Spirit clean, ain't a speck on my name. Pray for my safety, they hate me, Necheru. God, I be outside, what they finna do? Does it trouble you, we fresh? Worry you, we blessed. Shame on you, WTF. Does it trouble you, we fresh? Worry you, we blessed. Shame on you, WTF. Healing the hood, yeah, I patched the cracks. Stitch the seams with the strings, bring the violin back. Soul samples hum where the halos lack. Ops lurking, but I move like a stealth attack. Energy ancient, hieroglyphic cadence. They hating on the globe, but my aura's so blatant. Playing chess while they scrabble, no patience. Blessings hit like drums in the bass.
So heavy like the snow. Never stop hustling, the roots still grow. Switch the plants for the herbs, now they're healing, not the flow. We destroyed the community, now we building it, you know. 200 books stacking mine, bricks for the brain. Fast 10 songs, every verse a campaign. Happening too fast, no time to explain. Pray for my safety, shadows moving in the rain. The natural watching eyes glowing in the trees. My woman needs a piece, skin soft as the breeze. Oh, 4 a.m. in Michigan, I hope you listening. 4 a.m. in Michigan, I hope you listening. 4 a.m. in Michigan, I hope you Teaching science to the hood, equations on the block, algebra on the corner where the hustlers used to fly. Rewiring minds, breaking generational lies. Blueprints on the pavement, wisdom in the chalk. They hate me cause I shine, prayer bounce to the ceiling. Every scar on my heart's another layer of the killing. The violins cry, strings mimic my feeling. Trap beat stomps, my pain's no longer concealing.
Sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt. Divine naga symbol, gold shine on my crown. Kemetic roots, bioelectric waves all around this town. Got shadows, I'm cutting through the haze. We the aureas, cosmic in our place. The brow heavy, third eye seeing schemes. Them folks wanna slay us, tearing at our dreams. Healing the hood, no cap, realigned. Herbs in the mix, put the wave in their spine. Engage with my mind, let it resonate deep. I wanna run, I saw what I read. Sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt, sliding doing dirt. From the home of Big Pun, Bronx born king. I'm a one and none, every word got sting. 200 books stacked, knowledge got me flexing. Turn pages like stages, no need for a weapon. The streets on violence, strings of survival. Biofield charge, charged up revival. Haters plot, but the aura stay protected. Truth in the lyrics, every line connected. I'm moss in the rules, they carry my weight. Grounded in earth, but the cosmos my state. Third eye wide, never blind to the fakes. Crown charged up, steady, raising the stage. What the heck are you doing with your hours? A heck of lot, heck of words and powers, and I'm giving them out, living them out, eating them up, spitting them out. Cobra command, holding her hand, looking wide jet in her eyes, hypnosis fam. I got the box cutter, sharp fox, strutter, art sting like a Kodak, can have but a far bone, appetite, the protein, sheet, the flow, me so mean, Elohim street, pour down your block, front window drop, pop, 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 shooting a shot, at an effectual sovereignty, trying to steal back intellectual property, debates become gang wars, I'm going to my thing for you, gotta go all the way, no partial start, who knew reading a book was a martial art, I'm a black belt with red tips, that melanin talk is split second head kicks, I got the game jumping off the wave function, even though I'm stepping in to say something, I heard you OG, I'ma move accordingly, slithering, glittering, giggling, livery, the third eye, the bird eye, that's my word, I got some nerve, I committed murder, 3-0, we did it big, representative of Christ, slip for the heavenly, I told him Ray was the wave, God was the word, here was the plug if you wanted a bird, I could sell ice to a whale, bring a life back from hell, sliding on the beat, blue magic is the gel, they wanna do me cause every sentence is a ruby, but it don't come from me, the info come through me, the past is known, the math and stone, I thought I knew twice as much half is grown, you think doing dirt is for criminals, I think doing dirt is taking men rules, you know it's optional, you calling you pick, you dancing off beat, and got his music, them boys know I can flow for days with the truth, sounding like I got rollerblades in the booth, we do dirt like snakes, make no mistakes, we crashing out, baby, all gas, no brakes, pass me the book, I'ma think on them, hit them with 100 thoughts, red ink on them, source material for the Kemetic wave function, box of cereal shave to say nothing, intellectual violence, I told you it's a holy war, if you winning enough, you ain't gotta know the score, engage with my mind, let it resonate deep, I wanna run, I saw what I read, the miles and the roots, they carry my weight, grounded in earth, but the cosmos my state, third eye wide, never blind to the fakes, ground charge up, steady raising the stage.
So let's be clear. He was like, remember I said this. Not only will we be looking at the biblical sources, the biblical books and their authenticity, but we'll be looking at the source of the sources, 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 the source of the sources.
Nations move in silence, they don't make a sound. Intellectual violence with the brain unbound. Am I too sharp or are you too dull? Either way, it's over your head, this push for. Ooh, you are one in a million, a true 101. But I'm different. I'm a one of none. How to get away with murder? How to get away with murder? There's a murder one. There's a murder one. Shoot your shot, it's a movie plot. A twist so sharp it ties the knot. A body bag in the body bag, stacked inside the crime tag. The thesis we was debating, Christ not debating Jesus. The science of the silence. Don't blame me, just believe us. This was murder one. This was murder one. Yeah. How to get away with murder. This was murder one. The flyer was a contract. Contract on Jabari. The flyer was a contract. Contract on Jabari. The flyer was a contract. A contract on Jabari. Christ a literal character. I had to embarrass you. Christ a historical character. We had to laugh at you. Brought a knife to a gunfight. Tried to shoot your shot. This a movie with a red dot on your top. You playing, it's your hobby, but you know how I be. Do the boys in the hood wanna see a dead body. First round, EnQi dropped a science a tone related to Ray hieroglyph and the Shabaka stone. By the third Jabari was a gunner. Punch drunk, walking into the wrong corner. He started teaching EnQi, let Jabari fold it under pressure. Jabari tried to blackmail a victory. Sick of me, exposes devil worship and wizardry. He knew he was gonna lose in infancy. This is the trickery of this industry. This ain't how it's meant to be. Intellectual violence killing me. We saw the best debate performance in history. EnQi even showed chivalry. Connecting the dots simply. If the question is the word of infinity, the science of standing waves is the symmetry. The nature we're peeling this, you feeling this? Woo! Jabari dead, Jabari dead, Jabari dead, Jabari dead, Jabari dead. You can't win on a technicality. You ran into Mickey and Mallory. Jabari was dead on arrival. The intro was viral. You are one in a million, a true 101. But I'm different. I'm a one of none. How to get away with murder? How to get away with murder? touches move in silence, they don't make a sound. No. Intellectual violence with the brain unbound. Am I too sharp? Are you too dull? Either way, it's over your head, this pool's full.
You are one in a million,
a true one-on-one,
but I'm different.
I'm a one of none. This was murder one. Shoot your shot, it's a movie. A twist so sharp, it ties a knot, a body bag in a body bag. Stacked inside the crime tag, the thesis we was debating. Christ not debating, Jesus, the science of the silence. Don't blame me, just believe us. How to get away with murder, murder, murder. This was murder one. Christ a literal character, I had to embarrass you. Christ a historical character, we had to laugh at you. Brought a knife to a gunfight, tried to shoot your shot. It's a movie with a red dot on your top. You playing, it's your hobby, but you know how I be. Do the boys in the hood wanna see a dead body? First round, EnQi dropped the science atomic. Related to it, Ray Hieroglyphs. Pottery tried to blackmail a victory. Sick of me, exposes devil worshiping wizardry. He knew he was gonna lose in a risen. This is a trickery of this industry. This ain't how it's meant to be. Intellectual violence killing me. We saw the best debate performance in history. EnQi even showed chivalry. Connecting the dots simply. If the question is the word of infinity, the science of standing waves is the symmetry. The natural pill in this. You feeling this? Woo! Jabari there.
Remember I said this. Not only will we be looking at the biblical sources, the biblical books and their authenticity, but we'll be looking at.
This is why you have to go to Amazon and get the book, Rich Abs, Poor Abs, now.